Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, picture this. A huge bank, one with a bit of a past, now saying they've got this amazing digital setup and top-notch security. We're talking about the Wells Fargo checking account. Can it really shake off its history and be like the modern bank account you actually need? Today, we're cutting through all the marketing noise. We're diving deep into a recent review of this account to give you the straight scoop, the good, the bad, and maybe some surprises. Our goal here is pretty simple. Give you the important bits, the key takeaways so you feel properly informed, without getting lost in all the banking talk. So whether you're thinking about opening an account or maybe you're just curious what else is out there, we're going to unpack it all. Okay, let's get started. Right, let's kick off with the thing most of us use first these days, the mobile app and online banking. Our source, the review we looked at, really emphasized the big improvements Wells Fargo has apparently made here. It describes their app as, well, a really solid hub. Not just for the basics like checking your balance or moving money around, but also for things like depositing checks with your phone camera, paying bills, and yeah, using Zelle to send money, which seems like everyone uses now, right? Like Venmo, but
Mhm.
straight from your bank. But what really caught my eye was the mention of advanced biometrics like Face ID, fingerprint scanning for logging in faster and more securely. That feels like more than just convenience, especially, given their background, it feels kind of crucial.
Right. And what's insightful there is how banks, like Wells Fargo, are moving past just handling transactions. They're trying to give you actual financial management tools inside the app. The review points out that these security upgrades aren't just about protecting your account in the moment. They're a really strategic effort to rebuild trust that was, let's be honest, pretty damaged.
Hmm.
When you think about their past issues, adding things like biometrics isn't just keeping up. It's like they're trying to give customers a very visible, tangible sign that things are safer now. More than just a password protecting your money. It's sort of a fundamental step if they want to regain that confidence.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. And speaking of new tech, the review mentioned this feature called Control Tower. That sounded genuinely interesting to me. They pitch it as this central place, like a command center, for keeping track of all your recurring payments and where your card is linked, like in digital wallets. My first thought was, oh man, all those free trials I forgot to cancel.
Exactly. And that's the key insight, isn't it? Control Tower isn't just a neat trick. It's the bank basically admitting we're all drowning in subscriptions and random app connections. It's their attempt to give you a clearer view, more control over that whole digital money trail, almost like a little financial auditor in your pocket,
Yeah.
helping you spot where money's just leaking out.
Yep.
Preventing that death by a thousand cuts from small charges that you barely notice but really add up. Technically, it probably uses things like open banking APIs to pull all that info together, giving you one view that, frankly, a lot of separate budgeting apps struggle to do smoothly within the bank's own system. It's trying to shift things from just moving money to actually, like, managing it, mastering it.
That's a really powerful way to put it. Okay, so beyond that control, security, like you mentioned, is obviously huge. The review highlights Wells Fargo's zero liability promise for dodgy debit card charges and their 24/7 fraud monitoring. That's not just a bonus feature, it's essential stuff.
Oh, totally essential. And these improved security measures, they're a direct result of, well, the modern financial world. And let's face it, those past problems they had, it shows they're trying, at least on the surface, to rebuild trust and protect your money, which is like job number one for any bank, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, the FDIC insurance up to $250,000 per depositor. That's standard everywhere. But maybe, just maybe, for Wells Fargo, it provides an extra layer of psychological comfort, like a legally backed safety net against any big institutional mistakes. It's not just a fact, it's a baseline reassurance that might feel more important to some people given, the history.
Okay, so on one side, you've got these impressive digital tools and strong security, but like with anything financial, there's always the other side of the coin, the fine print. Let's talk about some potential downsides because our review is pretty clear here too. First off, those monthly maintenance fees, they can definitely eat into your balance if you don't jump through the hoops to get them waived. We're talking needing a certain minimum balance or getting specific direct deposits or making enough transactions. And yeah, maybe $10 or $15 a month doesn't sound like a lot, but boom, that's $120, $180 a year gone. Right. And for anyone who travels a lot or just doesn't live near a Wells Fargo ATM and needs cash often, listen up. The bank charges $2.50 every time you use a non-Wells Fargo ATM here in the US. And here's the kicker, that's plus whatever the ATM owner themselves charges you. Ouch. And if you're overseas, It's a $5 fee plus a 3% currency conversion charge on the amount you take out. We've all been there, right? Stuck needing cash, hitting the nearest machine, and then realizing later you paid a small fortune for it.
And this really brings up a critical question for you, the listener. How does that fee structure actually line up with your banking habits, your specific needs? If you travel often, or if you live somewhere where Wells Fargo ATMs are just few and far between, those fees can make this account surprisingly expensive really fast. You've got to really think about your own patterns before you sign up. Otherwise, you could be in for some nasty surprises on your statement.
It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, how much extra are you willing to pay just for the name recognition of a big bank versus maybe looking at newer online banks or credit unions that might have totally free ATM access?
Yeah, good point. And then, well, we can't really avoid it. The review calls it the elephant in the room, Wells Fargo's reputation. The banks face some really big scandals, obviously the fake accounts thing being the most famous one. And that understandably made a lot of people feel pretty uneasy, questioning their trust. Now, the review does say they've taken major steps to fix things, improve how they operate, and that's acknowledged. But, some customers are justifiably still hesitant about putting their money there. Yeah, and the fallout from those scandals, that's a really important kind of long-lasting factor to consider. A bank can roll out new security tech, they can change their customer service scripts, tweak internal policies, but rebuilding public perception and, more importantly, genuine trust, that can take a really, really long time. So when you're deciding where to bank, it's not just about the app features or the fee schedule today. It's also about how comfortable you feel with the institution's track record and whether you believe they've truly shown a commitment to doing right by customers over time. That history, its context, it's vital for making a really informed choice. It pushes you to think critically, right? To look at not just what they offer now, but their whole journey and how serious they seem about fixing past mistakes.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit to some of the, let's call them sweeteners. The review mentions that Wells Fargo does sometimes offer sign-up bonuses for new checking accounts. You know the kind of thing. Get $250 if you set up direct deposit of $1,000 for 3 months or something like that, tied to certain actions. These deals change all the time, so it's definitely worth checking their website or popping into a branch if you're seriously thinking about it.
Right, those bonuses can look really tempting up front. But this is where you need to do your own deep dive. Always read the fine print. Ask yourself, are the things you need to do to get the bonus actually easy for you? Will you have to change how you normally bank just to qualify? And does that short-term cash boost really outweigh any potential monthly fees you might pay later, or the hassle of using their ATMs if they aren't convenient for you? It's about making sure the incentive actually works for your financial situation, not just luring you in with a quick buck that might cost you more down the road. And it's worth comparing, too. Lots of other banks, especially the online ones and credit unions, have some pretty aggressive offers these days that might actually give you better long-term value.
Good point. Okay, what about customer service? Wells Fargo offers 24/7 phone support, which is definitely reassuring for those middle-of-the-night uh-oh moments. You can also message them through the app, or if you like talking to a real person face-to-face, you can schedule an appointment at a local branch. The review noted that the service you get in the branch is generally pretty decent, although, wait times can be all over the place depending on when and where you go. So a decent mix of ways to get help.
Yeah, that mix of digital and physical options is smart. It's how traditional banks can still compete, catering to different preferences. Because for some people, having that physical branch nearby, being able to walk in and talk to someone, especially for bigger financial stuff, that's hugely valuable. It's a tangible connection. But for others, it's all about the speed and convenience of getting help instantly online or through the app, anytime, anywhere. So offering both really lets them appeal to a wider range of people, maybe bridging that gap between how different generations prefer to handle their banking.
And one last point from the source. It suggested Wells Fargo could be a solid choice if you're the kind of person who likes having everything in one place. Checking, savings, maybe a mortgage, credit cards, investments, they offer the whole range. For people who value that simplicity, that single point of contact, that could be a big plus. Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. What does it all mean if you're trying to decide? This deep dive suggests the Wells Fargo checking account definitely has strong digital features now. Security seems to be a real focus. And of course, they have that huge network of branches and ATMs. It might be a really good fit if you value having a branch nearby, need access to lots of ATMs, or if you genuinely want to bundle all your financial stuff with one single provider. Simplify things. But, and this is a big but, you absolutely have to be mindful of those potential costs, the out-of-network ATM fees, the monthly fees if you don't meet the waivers. Those can add up. And, you have to personally weigh how comfortable you are with the bank's past reputational issues. That's a personal call.
Exactly. In the end, picking a checking account is super personal, highly individual. We've laid out the key points from the review, the facts, the insights, but it's really crucial for you to think about your own spending and saving habits, your comfort level with Wells Fargo's history and their ongoing efforts, and what you prioritize most: features, fees, convenience, service, trust. And honestly, before you make a final call on any bank account, it's probably always a good idea to chat with a financial advisor or expert, someone who can look at your specific situation and give tailored advice.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we hope this deep dive into the Wells Fargo checking account has given you a clearer, maybe more nuanced perspective. It's kind of fascinating, isn't it? How much complexity and strategy sits behind something as everyday as a checking account, and how all those little details can really affect your financial life day to day.
hmm And as you think about your own banking choices, maybe you chew on this. In today's world, where financial tech is changing so fast and trust is such a big deal, how much weight do you personally give a bank's history, its past problems, versus what it's doing right now, its latest innovations, its security upgrades, its visible efforts to improve? It's a balancing act, isn't it? Something we all have to figure out as we try to be smart, informed consumers in this financial landscape.